Welcome back, Bay family. It's your girl, Rochelle, Madam. Big age energy coming at you. And, I love doing these podcasts. It is just, something that at this point, I can't understand why it took me so long to start. And you know what? It ain't gonna take me long to just start this podcast. We're gonna go right into what we're talking about. So, one of the things, if you don't know, I am all about big age energy, which is, nothing but that intentional, conscious decision to make peace with aging, to make peace with understanding that there is nothing that you can do about the fact that time is marching on and you just got to get on the train and ride along with it, right? And have a mindset that it gets greater later, right? And it does get greater later. It has evolved into this super fantastic greatness in which I am right now, right? But what I want to talk to you about is something you hear quite a bit in the entrepreneurial space. Okay. So, to all of my business owners, okay, big ups to you, right? To all of those that may be thinking about going into business, and then really just in life in general. We hear this all the time, and it's people asking or inquiring about what is your why? What is your why? And I'm going to be transparent with you. I can remember, you know, hearing that for the very first time years ago in a conference. And we had a piece of paper, and on it, it said, write down your why. And I remember looking at this blank piece of paper like, you know, I don't quite really know. I don't even know that I truly understood what the question was. Why did I start my business? Why I didn't fully understand what is your why when that question was asked to me the first time. And of course, now I know so much more about what that truly, truly means and what it meant. And so, but what I also know is that it's not a static question. Okay. It's not, what is your why? And it's always been, always is, or always will be the same. Okay. What I want to present to some and let others acknowledge is that your why evolves. It changes. Okay. My why today is not my why of yesterday. Right. It changes. It evolves. I have been in business at this point 23 years. Okay. 23 long, hard roller coaster, nail biting, 10 toes in, almost lost it all years. And my why has evolved. Right. And so I just want to talk about that just so that, it may be something where, you've thought about this and, what I'm saying to you, you're like, okay, yeah, it evolves. But some people, they get stuck on this why thing, thinking that it's one thing. And I'm going to tell you what it always is. A lot of times, if you're a parent and somebody says, what is your why? The answer is always is my kids. Okay. The answer is always for my children. Right. And then when you have grandchildren, for my children and my grandchildren, for my legacy. And that's cool. And so this is what I want to do in this particular video. I want to just resolve the fact that if you have children, okay, if you have offspring, if you are taking care of another individual, your automatic, one of your baseline foundation whys is going to be to make sure that one of your baseline foundation whys is going to be so that you can provide for your children. Okay. Let's let that one just sit there and marinate and be a foundational why that's there. But I want to expound upon that. Okay. I want to talk about the deeper aspects of your why and how it evolves. So on this particular episode, we're going to delve in to the whys of entrepreneurship and just living this big age life as we go through life. So I read this interesting article by Patrick Bet-David, who delved into the evolution of why in the entrepreneurial space, right? And so I want to, every single time I'm ready to get into the juice, the doorbell rings. Y'all, excuse me. I will be right back. I'm sorry about this. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, and hit the notification bell. So when we talk about the evolution of why, one of my favorite books is Becoming by our great First Lady, Michelle Obama. And she talks about the fact that we will never reach our pinnacle. We never become. We're always becoming. We're always evolving. So allowing yourself to flow in that space, to be fluid, to understand there's nothing absolute. It's not static. It's always evolving and changing. It's almost freeing in a way, So that way when someone asks me, what's your why? Well, my why is what my why is at that particular time. But what Patrick Bet-David taught us in that article, or at least taught me, is that usually your why starts out at a survival level, okay? You're in survival mode. So your why is merely you trying to just make it, okay? You just need to make it. You need to make a living, right? And so I'll just tell you, the story of me starting my business. So I am a registered nurse, okay? It is what I was put on this earth to do. It is a wonderful thing when you find out, you discover, and you know that you know that you know what you were put on this earth to do, okay? Many singers know they are here to sing. Artists know that they are here to draw or paint. Many teachers know that they were put on this earth to teach, and so on and so forth. So it is a beautiful, beautiful thing whenever you know what you were put on this earth to do. And so I know without a shadow of a doubt that nursing is why in my profession that I was supposed to work in here on this earth. But I also had an entrepreneurial spirit. I have always found myself in leadership, and I even within leadership, though I'm not a typical leader, I'm not a typical captain or maverick type personality, I am a promoter, okay? I am a cheerleader. So most of the people that work for me can tell you, I'm not one to stand over there and beat my fist about what we're doing. I am one to say, rah, 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 let's come together and make this thing work. That's the leadership style that I have. And so I am a promoter, that's a leader, that's a nurse that had a dream and a desire to make sure that our elderly and disabled stayed home and aged in place where they wanted to be. And so my first jobs were, in a nursing home. And I loved it. I literally loved going to work every day, making sure that we took really, really good care of our elderly and disabled. But there was just something missing. I would go to work and I would see people that I would know are simply deteriorating because they are not in their home. They are not in the place that they built up, where all their things are, their pets, their belongings, their neighbors, their friends could come and visit them in this house that they'd been in for years. When they were plucked from that environment and put into this foreign place without their things, belongings, and things that they've loved and built, they would deteriorate. And I didn't like seeing that day in and day out after a while. So I had the why. The first why for me was that I wanted to start a business, but, I had to make money. I had to be able to support my child and my lifestyle. And so I was able to hang on to both my job as well as start my business at the same time with a why up underneath me of survival. Okay. That survival was a purpose of also wanting to keep people in their home, But I promise you, I would have not stepped out on faith on that had I had any inkling that I couldn't survive doing it, that I didn't have that survival mode covered. Okay. So my first why was I really, really wanted to make sure that I could make money. So when I came out the gate, it was working hard. I was working almost 24 hours a day with very little sleep because I had to do everything. I didn't have enough money to hire people, so I'm doing everything. Me at that time, I had a business partner. So me and my business partner, we were, doing everything. I was the janitor. I did everything, that needed to be done at Caring Hands just to survive. And that was my baseline why. My baseline why is that I've got to make a living for me and my child. And so that why was a solid why for the first, I would say, good 6-7 years. And I say that because that's how long it took for me to get to that place where I really felt like, okay, I'm good. We're making money. I got money in the savings, like, you know what I'm saying? My son's not wanting for anything. Survival wise, we surviving. Okay. My why was taken care of at that point. So that's what Patrick Bet-David talked about in an article, that first why is usually one of survival. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But then that next level, and I definitely went through this as one of my whys. After we were good, then it was the why of status. Okay. Then it was the why of status. I wanted more. I wanted to be seen as more. I wanted the people to see that I had more. I wanted my family and friends to know that I had made it. Okay. That, I passed by them first 5-6 years when they say all businesses fail. And I made it through that. And daggone it, not only that, but I am thriving and surviving, right? Let's see me roar. You know what I'm saying? Let me spend this money that I'm making, right? And it was all about, being successful, like, and people knowing that I was successful, So I needed the nice things. That's when I bought my first brand new car, that Lincoln Navigator. I was driving around in my Lincoln Navi, you know what I'm saying? I went ahead and bought me a house. If you don't know, I made a switch. I talked about this in my Ross video. If you haven't seen that, you need to go check that out. I'm gonna put that link in the bio down there. But I used to, want nothing but brand name clothes, baby, nothing but the finest Gucci and Prada and red bottoms and all that kind of stuff, because it was all about status. My why was see me in my greatness. You know what I mean? Acknowledge that I have made it, because look at me. I look like I made it. I'm driving like I made it, right? I'm spending like I made it. My why was status. Okay. And so still, don't get it twisted. Bottom line foundation, my child being taken care of, but he's straight. Survival, I'm surviving. I'm looking for status at this point, right? And so, I did well. I did really, really, really well for a long time until I wasn't. And still until I didn't, until I hit that first winter in business where I almost lost it all. All right. And so I will give you the brief story. I have a whole nother podcast episode where I break down the winter, my 2 winters. Actually, in my 23 years, I've had 2 major winters. When I say winter, I'm talking about that hard, cold, barren, destitute time when life has slapped you upside your head, either health-wise, financially, psychologically, emotionally. Something huge happens in your life that is what's considered a huge setback. Okay. For me, these 2 setbacks, it pretty much encompassed all that. Okay. They were definitely financial, Anytime you're messed up financially, emotionally, and psychologically, you're jacked, right? I was so stressed out that my health was jacked up. And so these were long, hard, cold winters in my life that really had me contemplating, like, is this life worth this? Is this what I signed up for? Like, God, I have done everything I was supposed to do. I've done everything right. I'm a tither. I go to church. I do right by people. Hell, I take care of the elderly and disabled in their homes. Why in the world am I going through this? Right? But what I want to talk to you about and tell you in this time right now is, listen, we all go through this. It is a season. We have spring, summer, fall, and winter. Just like on earth, you have these seasons in your life, and they're coming. Winter is coming. So you need to prepare for that. That's why you always need to garner up in spring and summer so that you can get ready for fall and absolutely know that winter is coming and be prepared for it. How you fare in winter is going to depend on how much you put up, psychologically got yourself ready, emotionally and financially got yourself ready for the winter that's coming. Even as I say this right now, right now life is Gucci, baby, but winter is coming, and I need to know that and be prepared. So I say all that to say, everything was wonderful, guys, until it wasn't. All right. And so my why was status for several years until I hit rock bottom. And I had to realize and reevaluate that why was not going to see me through these hard times. And so in 2009 was the winter of bad health. In 2012, I had a winter which led to economic issues. And then in 2012, I had another really hard blow economically on my business where I almost lost everything. And so that why of status was quickly replaced by a new why. And that why is freedom. Okay. From about 2016 till just recently, my why has been freedom. Freedom from worry, freedom of time, and being able to do the things that I want to do when I want to do them. Because remember, your whys transfix what's happening in the entirety of your life. So over the last 5 years, I went from complete single mom to empty nester. Okay. So my why also changed because one of my big whys, as far as my son is concerned, my child, now I have an adult. Okay. My son is 24 at the time of this video right now. And so my why evolved because thank God he has enough going on for himself that he's fairly self-sufficient. And so I didn't need to survive financially to make sure he was well taken care of because he's taking care of himself. Okay. So my new why transformed into freedom, right? Freedom. And that's where Big Age Energy has been birthed. Okay. The freedom of understanding that, I am coming into the best days of my life. My son is self-sufficient and now it's about me. And my entrepreneur spirit should be one in which is serving myself to have the freedoms and the luxuries and the pleasures that I want, not the status necessarily. Okay. Oh, I'm humbled on that now. Okay. Again, check out my check out my Ross Dress for Less video. Okay. And other ways that I've become extremely thrifty and thankful and have a attitude of gratitude when it comes to having what I have, and being a good steward over what God has given me. Okay. I've evolved from survival through status into freedom, right? And then that final evolution of why, that Patrick Bet David said we should all be striving for is purpose. A why that is rooted and grounded in purpose, right? My new purpose, now that I've had several years here of freedom, okay? Son, self-sufficient, money is good, business is running like a well-oiled machine, is a new sense of purpose. My new why, that's a common thread through all that I'm doing at this point in my life, is grounded in purpose. And my purpose is to educate. My purpose is to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. My purpose is to be able to give back. I want to be able to be blessed to be a blessing. It's not about surviving. It's not about status. It's not about freedom anymore. It's about being able to be a blessing to other people. It's about being able to impart wisdom, knowledge, encouragement, and to anyone that needs it at this point in time. It is no accident. It is not a coincidence that you've stopped by this video. It's either because you just need to hear that it's okay for your why to evolve, or it may be that you need to hear that, listen, winter is coming, seasons change, get prepared, because your why will evolve based on the threads and changes in your life, and that's okay. It is not a static why. Your why, your kids are always your why. But get a harness, because what I wish is I knew this a little sooner so that I could sow threads of purpose of why into my entrepreneurial spirit. I can literally think about where I was over the years, and it does fall pretty much in line with what Patrick Bet David said in that article, okay? And so, it's something, whenever you're conscious about something, you can make a change. You can be very intentional about how you're doing these things. So I'm hoping that it's helpful for you. If you know your current why right now, besides your kids, I want you to drop it in a comment section for me below, okay? I want you to think about it. If you hadn't thought about it in a long time, think about it. Pull out a piece of paper, just like I had years ago, and think about your why. Are you in survival mode right now? Maybe you're looking at status right now. Be careful with that. The next one, of course, is freedom, all right? And I wish all of you wonderful freedom. But I hope that we all evolve to purpose. What is your why? I'll see you next time.